Good day, everyone. I'm going to say some important things in this video, so please listen attentively. Please do share, like, and please do comment on the videos. Very few people comment. I like interaction. I'm a people's person. Feast of Trumpets is God's appointed time for the rapture and His judgment. Yes, people, that is correct. Remember the first verse, Bible verse that I opened on the day when I became born again. Actually, when I became born again in February, yes, in 1984, the 1st of February 1984. And the same next day I went to go buy myself a Bible, that's right. And I happened to open that on Zephaniah 1 verse 14 to 16. That's Zephaniah 1:14. The great day of the Lord is near. It is near and he says greatly. Yes, that's what is greatly. God said that so often He is coming soon. But this time it's not soon, it's very soon. It is shortly, Zephaniah 1:15, that will be a day of His wrath. And do you know where God's day's wrath begins? The sixth seal. Read it. The sixth seal, chapter 6, verse 17. Revelation 6 verse 17. The day of the Lord's wrath is come. The elite shouts from their bunkers. They shout from their bunkers. That is the day the Lord of His wrath comes. They hide in the bunkers while people have to be on the earth, right? That's why the Bible says it will come like a thief in the night. Yeah, for them it will come suddenly, but not for the believer in Christ. This first 5 seals is open. The next seal to come is the 6th seal. We are right in that season. The 6th seal is definitely coming. That day will be a day of His wrath, the 6th seal. It will be the day of the trumpet. It actually tells you it will come on Feast of Trumpets. God's judgment will come on Feast of Trumpets, people. God's judgment will come on Feast of Trumpets. I also want to speak to you about the book of remembrance. The book of remembrance. Yes. Now, I want to Google this for you. I want to Google that for you. Yeah. And that Google, he said, God remembered Noah. God remembered Noah. Remember Noah. The flood began just after the Feast of Trumpets. The flood was for a full year. Many people think that the flood happened to be in around about March, April. No, that is not the case. For the first month, before that, the first month used to be the 7th month in the beginning. But then God changed it and He calls Nisan. That was Nisan then the first month. Just when Moses entered into entered the promised land when He gave it to him. He gave it the first month, and as that first month. Yeah, it is a bit confusing for some people that are new, but God remembered Noah. The book of remembrance will be open on that day. Yes, and Noah released the dove on that day. He released the dove, and he sent the dove out, and the dove not to return. The water resided on Feast of Trumpets, people. Yeah, the earth was dry on Feast of Trumpets. That God remembered Noah. God remembered Joseph. Remember Joseph's dreams? Joseph became prime minister on Feast of Trumpets. That's right. God remembered Rachel. Yes, Rachel couldn't fall pregnant. And she conceived Joseph on Feast of Trumpets. Sarah was also remembered by God. And Isaac was born on Feast of Trumpets. God remembered David. That was on Feast of Trumpets. David became king on Feast of Trumpets. God remembered Daniel. Yes, Daniel. And God released Daniel. Daniel also became prime minister in Iraq. God remembered Daniel. God remembered Hannah. You remember Hannah? Do you remember Hannah? Hannah couldn't fall pregnant and she conceived on Feast of Trumpets. And Samuel was born then. God remembered Job. Remember Job's suffering? That happened to be on Feast of Trumpets. And God blessed Job double that. Feast of Trumpets is God's appointed time, people. Feast of Trumpets is the beginning and the end. The world was created just 6 days prior to Feast of Trumpets. Adam happened to be born, was created on. God blew his breath into Adam's nostrils on the 6th day, and that was about on the Lul in our calendar, or probably just as we put it like in August. So in our month. But it happened to be just on 29th of Lul. 29th of Lul would be on 25th of September this year. God's appointed time for the rapture and his judgment, people. The final Shemitah. The final Shemitah, the Shemitas of all Shemitas, will end this year on Feast of Trumpets. Every 7 years, there is a Shemitah year. The last Shemitah was 2015. Everybody remember Jonathan Kahn's teaching on the Shemitas? And that is why I started to learn about the Shemitas. And the Lord showed me already since 2008. 2008. That Shemitah was from ourselves, for our business. It was very difficult. I'm saying in South Africa, but if America is just the dollar falls, everyone is affected, people. And that is why God punishes America every 7th year. God resets his economy every 7th year, and the slaves are set free. If you've been a rich man, you become if you've been a poor man, you become a rich man again. Your farms are given back to God, and this is how God is to reset his economy. But they lead and the rest, they reset it with wars. And you see the current war happening in Ukraine and Russia. It will end up in nuclear war by September, people. The nuclear war, of course, just happened after Feast of Trumpets. Yes, and that is a fact. That is a fact. So I'm going to share with you right now in the next slide. This how to count the 7 months for until September 26, 27. Now I calculated wrong, and I thought that October will be the 7th month, but I checked this calendars and I see that there's 2 new moons in July. So this happened to be the first new moon on 2nd of April, and as the word says, 14 days from the first month, which happened to be in April, it's also called Nisan, that will be Passover. And that happened to be on a full moon, and that is always a Sabbath, the evening of Saturday, not on Friday. Saturdays is not a Sabbath. The full moon, the new moon, then the 2 quarter moons is the Sabbath days. Okay? Yeah, so that is the first new moon, and you count May here. That was the second new moon, and then on June, that was actually happened. That was on the end. This is a new month. That was a new moon, the second new moon, and this was the third new moon, both in also in May. As because of the 31st day, normally God's calendar ends about 29, 30 days. So that happened to be the third new moon in May, and then the fourth one will be in June, and that will be a difficult sighting. So you must remember, how do you sight? Feast of Trumpets is also known as no man knows the day and hour because of the sighting of the moon. And that's what it is, because two witnesses go out, and they still do this up to this very day. In actual fact, the Muslims also copy this, and they also practice that. For instance, here in South Africa, they didn't see the moon on that day. And South Africa, the Muslims here were the only people that had their Ramadan the next day, whereas the rest of the world had it on the previous day. So the sighting of the moon, it was when two witnesses go out, and they go and see, they can see the moon, and then they report it back to the Sanhedrin, and then they would declare the day as Feast of Trumpets. So here we have the fourth moon sighting then on June. And July, there's also two. This is this is July. Yeah, that is the new moon. That would be the fifth new moon. Yeah, no, sorry, it was incorrectly. That is June. June. The fifth one was here in the new moon. Happened to be here just after sunset. That will be the fifth one. August will be the fifth month, and then there is a sixth month new moon. Then in August as well, the sixth new month will be in August. Yeah, the sixth new month, and then the seventh month will start. That happened to be on 26th of September. That sighting is also very difficult, and I'm going to demonstrate this for you now in the stellarium, how difficult it is to sight the moon. It actually is only seen on the 27th of September, right around about 12 o'clock. You will have a slither of the moon, the first slither of the moon. And now you have to consider what the Bible say. Midnight rapture. A cry has been made at midnight, yes. That is in Matthew 25, you get that? A cry was heard, was made at midnight. Behold, the bridegroom is coming. Yeah. And that is why people would say that it's a Jewish rapture will take place on September, the Feast of Trumpets. That is not the case. As I said to you, that Jesus was rejected by the Jews, and Jesus said, you're going to receive, to the Jews, he said, they will receive another in that person's own name. And that is coming. And the Jewish Messiah will also copy Jesus. Jesus fulfilled the role of Joseph as Ben Joseph at his first coming. And the false prophet who is the Jewish Messiah, he will do the exact same thing. And that is true. The Jewish Messiah believed their Messiah would die in battle. And battle, what's his name? So that is what the Jews believe. And here we see that it happened to be on the 26th, 27, the 26th year. So there we see the moon, and that is on the 26th, say right about, let's go a little bit further, 14, 16. Yeah, so right about 26, they say that was Feast of Trumpets. There's hardly any moon slither of the moon. There's hardly any moon. Let's look at the moon is still dark, and that is why it says it's a difficult sighting. So we'll see only here towards. Let's continue here. Right on the 27th of. There you see the first slither of the moon. There's the first slither of the moon right at, say almost, well, you can go back on this, and that was when the slither of the moon appeared, right about midnight. Yeah, right around by midnight. And that is why a cry was made at midnight, behold, the bridegroom is coming. So the question is, will it be a midnight rapture, or will it be Amos 8 verse 9 in the daytime, where it says, you can read Amos 8 verse 9, Lord say, in that day I will cause the sun to go down at noon. And that the only explanation for that is God's 7 planets, as they call it, Nibiru, that will overshadow the earth at midday. Yes. And that may cause an earthquake, cause the sun to turn into darkness, the moon into blood. And soon after that earthquake, people, just after that earthquake, wait for the trumpet, the last trumpet. The last trumpet is Feast of Trumpets, people. The last trumpet is the 100 blast, people. That is what? It's not the 7th trumpet judgment of Revelation, the 7th trumpet of book of Revelation. That is not a trumpet. That's not a trumpet at all. When that last trumpet blow, people, we will be caught up. And I can't wait to see you guys in the sky. I cannot wait to see all of you in the clouds. Yeah, and we need to prepare. Our preparation times begin round about, say, August the 16th, 17th. Israel, they do it earlier. They start normally in the month of Av, or is it month of Av or Lul? That's when they start, and they prepare 40 days. Jesus also prepared for that feast for 40 days. And Jesus then commenced his ministry, actually then on the 80th Jubilee. That's when Jesus began his ministry. On the 80th Jubilee happened to be on 28 AD. And that was the beginning of the 80th Jubilee, and it ended 29 AD. You count 2000 to that, and we come to 2029. That is when Jesus will return. Yeah, it's not soothsaying. You can know when the rapture happens. That the story about no man knows the day and hour is Feast of Trumpets, as I said, when 2 witnesses go out. And they report to the Sanhedrin when is Feast of Trumpets. So be blessed, people. Please share, as I said, and please to comment. I love you all. I pray for you every day. And be blessed. And I would like to say welcome to all the subscribers. I do pray for you. You know, as people subscribe, I open the book of, not everybody is there, but I do pray for those people. Not on a daily basis, but I do pray every day. I pray for each and every way. Sometimes I do pray by name, you know. I can't pray for all 6,000 people, 6,000 plus 600 or 500 people, let's say. But be blessed, love you all, and can't wait for you to see you in the sky.